Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. So can you believe it? It's time for Taroscopes already. This is the Taroscopes for the sign of Cancer for the month of February 2022. That is Cancer Sun, Cancer Moon, or Cancer Rising. So before we get to the cards, I want to take a quick look at the astrology. Let me grab that. So February is an interesting month for everyone, not just you Cancers. So let's take a quick look here. So we start the month off first week in the month with a new moon. Okay, we start the month with the new moon, just like we did in January. This time the new moon is in Aquarius, and this new moon is conjunct Saturn. So we have the sun and moon and Saturn all conjunct in Aquarius at that time. Now for you Cancer, Aquarius is your 8th house. The 8th house is kind of a mysterious place. It is the place of, first of all, it's the natural house for Scorpio. And so it has that flavor, that Scorpio flavor. It really has to do with our shared resources. And so you're starting a new sort of journey or a new beginning in that house of shared resources. And so with Saturn there, it really is important that whatever it is you choose to do with your shared resources, that you do it legally, right? That you do it with, dotting your I's, crossing your T's and the like, because it requires that. And also the more effort you put in at the beginning of this, the more will come out at the end of this. So it takes a lot of effort. That first week of February may feel like you're sort of walking uphill with a heavy package, and maybe the hill's a little slippery with snow, but you can make it. You just have to go slow and steady wins the race on this one. And so it may take, and you may be dealing with issues of death. Maybe somebody in your family, or it doesn't have to mean that they died, but you might be dealing with, maybe you're an executor of a will or something like that. So there's things to be dealt with that as a possibility for Cancers. And now, of course, this doesn't apply to everybody, right? So this is just a possibility. We do have Mercury go direct on the 3rd. Mercury has been retrograde in that house of shared resources, and then in your house of relationships. So as it turns direct, it is in the later degrees of Capricorn. So there can be some misunderstandings in relationships. You will have an opportunity to work that all out as the rest of February moves on. On the 11th, we have a conjunction between Mercury and Pluto. This is the 3rd of 3. First one occurred at the end of December. One occurred towards the end of January, and this last one in the middle week of February. This has been a time of really digging deep and thinking about the way you relate to others. Your relationships, whether it's a marriage or a business relationship, anytime you're dealing with these one-to-one relationships, counseling relationships, perhaps, these are the kind of relationships that you have been really thinking about. Maybe you're thinking about going into therapy and wondering who the right person would be, or marriage counseling, or you've been in that. And so you come to a point where I'm not going to necessarily say a decision is made. I think the opposition of Mercury to to Pluto. It'll be when the decision is made and it's pretty obvious what all this pondering about relationship means for you. And so that's not going to happen until the summer, when Mercury is in Cancer. I don't exactly know when that is, but I know it'll be in the summer. So it's not like any action has to be taken at this time, but there has been a lot of seeds have been planted when it comes to your relationships, and who's responsible, who's not. Are you holding up your side of the bargain? Is there a bargain? Does it need to be renegotiated? There's a lot of renegotiation that either has happened or is in the process of happening. So you guys will figure it out. You'll figure it out. We have a full moon in the sign of Leo. It's at the very end, it's 28 degrees of Leo with the sun at 28 degrees of Aquarius. Leo for you is your second house of resources. And of course, Aquarius is your house of shared resources. So something could come to fruition, something could come up. There's some sort of release and illumination around that. And you may actually get an inheritance at this time. So we'll see, right? We'll see if that's the case, if it applies to you. We also have Venus and Mars making a conjunction on the same day as that full moon, which is the 16th. And that's going to be in Capricorn. So it's right in your house of relationship. Venus and Mars are the planets of relating. And so all of this pondering has caused you to maybe come to a point where you're relating in a different way with your partner. And so this is a time of planting seeds for that. And you will move together slowly forward, right? Whatever the plans are, they will move together slowly forward through the month. The sun moves into Pisces on the 18th. And for you, Pisces is your house of long distance travel and your philosophy of life, metaphysical studies, and the like. And so truth, justice is all sort of like being lit up in your chart. And so you may be seeking out truth and justice. You may actually see some truth and justice. But certainly there is a real desire for things to be fair. There's also opportunities to travel. So if you can, you just may. It's hard to say with all the COVID issues and the like, and masks and no masks, and you can go into a country and you can't. And but you know, if you can't physically travel, you can always travel with your mind, and you know, go on fantastic journeys. We also have coming up with Mars and Venus in that conjunction, and as they move slowly forward, they're kind of moving together. And so in that 1, 2, 3, 4th week of February, the 23rd and the 24th, we have Neptune making a supportive connection to Venus and Mars. And so Neptune brings a spiritual presence and a spiritual energy and a very idealistic energy. And sometimes if it's idealism at the beginning of a cycle, it can, if it's at the idealism at the beginning of the cycle, you can sort of build on that idealism and be disappointed at the end. But this idealism is sort of at the end of a cycle, of an individual cycle with Venus and Mars and Neptune. So Venus and Neptune have a relationship. Mars and Neptune have a relationship. And that those relationships come to a place where idealism is actually an inspiration instead of a delusion. And Venus and Mars just happen to be walking next to each other. So they have this separate relationship with Neptune to a certain extent. And then they can bring it together because they're next to each other. And so the masculine and the feminine are sort of bathed in this energy of unconditional love from Neptune. and possibility and idealism. So it's a nice little boost for Venus and Mars. And Venus and Mars in Capricorn, as they make that conjunction, Mars is a little bit more of a player in that relationship, because Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and Venus is not. And Venus is just coming off a retrograde, where she spent a lot of time in Capricorn. So she does have some chutzpah there to sort of stand toe to toe with Mars. But Mars does have a little bit of the upper hand in that conjunction, I think. All right, so that's pretty much what I want to say about February for you. Of course, if you really want to know what's going on with February, details, charts, and the like, you can check out my Astrology of February 2022. That'll come out with the Kabbalah. Almost finished actually doing that, so hopefully you'll see that. Well, you'll definitely see it by the beginning of February, but maybe I can get it out before then. All right, so we are looking at Cancer, Cancer rising, and Cancer moon, and I am using the Good Tarot, by first name. I want to say Nicole, but it's not. Sasha? No. Colette. That was close to Nicole, right? Colette Baron Reed. I love her cards. She has some of the prettiest artwork. I think she's, well, I shouldn't say this. She's a little bit of the like English version of the other one there, but she's not really, because she does a lot of collaborations. And I don't think the one that went all Jesus on everybody, what was her name? Oh God. She did all the decks. Oh my God, Virtue. She got all Christian and weirded out, after she made a ton of money on the metaphysics, but that's just my opinion. Don't write. Sorry, I shouldn't talk about that. Some sort of libelous thing. For entertainment purposes only. All right, I'm almost done. Promise to stop. I just do it, right? Because I'll get in trouble with all these, I'm pondering out loud. Could be dangerous. Okay, Cancer. There we are, fat and happy, Cancer. I'm a Cancer, I can say that. Yeah, this is contentment. This is a real sense of just plain old contentment. Like you just feel like, wow, I'm in a place and I feel content. And that's a lovely feeling to have. What's crossing at the Eight of Swords? This is anxiety, right? The Eight of Swords. This card really doesn't, talk about it as much than other cards do. But we have an angel here. She's dropping feathers. So worries that, but it's all in your head. Like really, if you look at it, if you looked at your life, you would realize that emotionally you're pretty damn content. But there's a lot of these like ideas floating through your head. And the eight of swords, or the eight of air, or the eights in general, in the tarot, are associated with Mercury through its correspondence on the tree of life. And so this really is all the voices in your head, telling you to worry. At the bottom of the card, at the bottom of the reading is the Chariot. This is the Cancer card, incidentally, and this is about being on your path, things moving forward. Perhaps you're asking yourself, could it really be this simple to be happy? Shouldn't I be worrying about something else? Shouldn't I be worrying about the state of the world, right? In the past, we have the Six of Earth. That's funny. This was the same card that was in the past for, was it Taurus? One of the earth signs had this in the past. This is due diligence. You've done your work. you've made the sacrifices. There's been a give and take, but you haven't just taken, you've given a lot. And so things are in balance. And I think that balance, excuse me. I'm sorry, there we go. That balance is, and you're feeling that contentment because you worked and you deserve it. We have the King of Fire in the sky. So this is, we can see there's the heart there. This is a heart-centered, loving, brilliant light. The light of love is above you. So this is healing coming to you, healing coming from you. It's about being in this place of contentment and love and happiness. That 10 of Cups, that laughing Buddha place, is put you in a place or a state of being that allows you to take in all this beautiful energy that's coming from the heavens, because you've come to peace with yourself. In the immediate future, we have the 5 of Earth, the 5 of Earth. And traditionally, this is about lack, but in this deck, it's not really about lack. It's about attending to your physical needs. It's about tending to the changes that you're undergoing and the changes financially that entails. So it's not really about destitution, like in this deck anyway. It doesn't come up as destitution for me. It comes up as okay, well, this is what I have and I need a little bit more here. So it's kind of changing with your changing life. So your lifestyle has to change with your life. We have how it's seen from the outside. We have the King of Waters. You're seen as somebody who is divinely protected. Divinely protected. The domestic situation, excuse me. Ooh, excuse me. The domestic situation here is the messenger of earth. The messenger of earth. This really points to the need to fix your finances, to get down to the details, ground level, figure out a budget, do what you have to do. You're kind of on the verge of greatness, but you do have to apply the rules of good governance of your resources in order to go as far as you can go. Because that, if not taken care of, can excuse me, put a fly in that Chardonnay of yours. Hopes and fears, the 9 of Earth. I think it's a hope. Everybody wants to feel like they have a certain amount of self-sufficiency, and on a certain level, we're all self-made. We don't, a lot of times what we do, we're doing somebody else's idea. We're working on somebody else's idea, as you do when you work in a company or an organization or the government. But you still have the capacity to, make what you make of it. And so that is a hope, not a fear. We have the 9 of Swords here, the 9 of Swords. The 9 of Air. Let me just see what this looks like here. It's hard for me to see. This is, in this deck, I feel like you're about ready to take off. You're about ready to take off. Let's see what else comes up. The Messenger of Fire. This is listening to your intuition. And the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man reminds us that we must stay connected to spirit. And there are things that we can affect and there are things that we can't. And we need to know the difference. Okay, underneath it all, we have the 3 of Earth. which is a very positive energy. It's about working with others, working with the experts, sort of raising your game a little bit. We have the Justice card here, which is the scales of justice are balanced, and then we have the Two of Air here, which is about a certain amount of poise comes with the Two of Air, and a awareness of when the best time it is to move on something. So generally a good reading. Yeah, I feel like there's a real opportunity to fly, and yet you're not really in charge of your own destiny, self-made or not, because we are part of a greater whole. And so understanding your part in that whole, seeing things from a different perspective, may help you to move along your journey, move along the path, knowing that you're protected and knowing that it's going to take some work, which you're no slouch when it comes to work. So it's not something that you need to worry about. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that reading. Like and subscribe if you would like a reading with me. You can check out my website, theseedsoftransformation.com. I'll put it in the description below. And I am teaching some classes again. Now that the holidays are over, I have a beginner's class. I have an intermediate class running. And I have a Tuesday night astrology salon, I like to call it, where we talk about, you have to have a basic knowledge of astrology, houses, signs, aspects, things like that, to get the most out of the salon. But if you just like listening to people talk astrology, this is the thing for you. It's every Tuesday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's on my website as a sort of a standalone class. So if you'd like to join us one Tuesday night for that, we do mostly what's going on what's going on, like, oh, this happened and that happened. The other night we looked at the chart of the eruption in Tonga to see what we could see, you know. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But otherwise, if I don't see you there, I will definitely see you next month for the tarot scopes for March. Until then, have a blessed month. Namaste. Much love, everyone. Take care of yourselves, Crabbies.